Hello everyone, this is Ashley from Ashley's Creations and I'm back with another card process video for you today. We're going to be making this card right here. Now, before I start on that card, I want to talk about why that card came about. So, I needed a wedding card for somebody and I made this card, I want to say like 2 years ago or so. It was a card that I cased from Heidi. Back then I had just used the Chevron border die to do the background, but this time I used the Chevron cover plate to cut out the background. So this was all cased for Heidi. This was not my card. So she created it when the Pretty Peonies die came out, and she was showing off the happy die. So I made this card, and then when you cut out the Chevron die, you have this left over. Now this is the brushed silver cardstock from Stampin' Up, which is retired, and I didn't want to waste it because it's pretty, and I can get silver cardstock in other places now, but I just didn't want to waste it. So my goal was to come up with some way to use this, and that's exactly what I did here, and that's what we're going to make today. So this one is a shower card. I made it for like a wedding shower, but I also made a version that was for a wedding. So I have a couple weddings and a couple showers because I made a couple of these. So I'm going to put that aside and we're going to start working. So I used the paper tray ink cover plate Chevron Vertical to cut out the brushed silver background. And then I needed something to fill it in with. So I cut out the Chevron cover plate with the raspberry shimmer background as well. So now I have the raspberry shimmer chevrons that I'm going to inlay into my thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover the entire background, and this is just a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheet of plain old computer cardstock. I just needed something to put in the back, and I'm just going to put a bunch of rows here so that way my pieces will stick. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and line this up on here. Okay, so now I can go ahead and insert all these pieces back in. Now it doesn't matter where I put them except for this one. This one has to be the top piece. I'm just going to insert that. And then I'm going to make my way down. Just inlaying those chevron pieces back into the outside of the die. The die cut, sorry. Hey guys, I tried to film this video before and it was a complete disaster because my tape runner is really old. It's got to be like 3.5 years old. I have used the same one forever. I've never replaced it or anything like that. And so I don't know if it was because the tape runner was old or what, but every time I would try and roll it, the tape would roll back on itself. And so every time I would do it out, I'd have to peel it off and unwind it again and again and again, and so that took forever. And then I had trouble lining up my stamps, and I finally decided to scrap that video and just start over. So because I got a new tape runner, so I got the pink tape runner because I didn't have the blue one at Michael's. But I'm just piecing in the little triangles. So yeah, now I'm back trying this again, hoping it works this time because that was a pain in the butt video. I also did a little more prepping because I realized that some of the stuff that I had filmed before was taking too long, and so I just did it off camera. Okay, so those are all in there, except for this little triangle that I can't hold. Now, the flowers on the background were made using the Delightful Dahlia Additions stamp set from Paper Tray Ink. I love this stamp set. I don't have the original Delightful Dahlia. I should maybe look and see into getting it, see if I need it. I don't know if I really need it or not because I'm doing just fine without it, but I had my husband buy me a couple dahlia flowers this summer to put in some pots in our front yard, and I love them. And every week I get 3 or 4 new blooms, and I just love watching them open up. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp those with my MISTI to try and make this easier for myself. I'm going to try and hope that I can do this on camera. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to put my MISTI in here. Now, if you don't have this yet, then you sorely, sorely need it. It is the most incredible stamp tool invented. I absolutely love it. So, I already cut out the big dahlia, and I already stamped it because this one I had a really hard time lining up, and I just wanted to save time in the video. So I used my MISTI to line it up, and you can see that this is perfectly lined up. Now before I had the MISTI, I had so much trouble with this stamp because there's so many little spots that you can mess up on, and yeah, it still looks good, but it was really hard to line up. So using the MISTI, I was able to put my stamp down uninked and make sure it was correctly placed, then close the lid on it, and it's in the perfect spot every time. So the MISTI has made this stamp so much easier to use, and I'll probably be using it a lot more because of that. So I already did the big one. Now I have two of the little ones already cut out, and I'm going to stamp those with you, and then I'm going to stamp the leaves with you. So what I did, and I've started doing this for all of my dies, but I took one of the negatives. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see that. I took one of the negatives and I put it in the corner of my MISTI, and I already lined up a couple of the stamps just to save time. And I'm going to take one of the die cut pieces and put it in there. And I'm going to try and zoom out even more for you guys. Okay, so my stamp is over here. What I did was I put it in the die cut. I lined it up inside the die cut, closed the lid, and now my stamp is in the perfect spot. Now I put the die cut in there, and I can stamp it perfectly. So I'm going to use Sweet Blush. I just ripped off the bottom of my Sweet Blush. I'm going to ink up my Sweet Blush over here. I'm going to close my lid on that. And then you can see that it's perfectly centered. I love that. And then I have one more, so I'm just going to stick that in there as well. And then again, I'm going to ink up my stamp over in the corner here. Close my Sweet Blush because I'm done with that. Fold it in. And now I have this one. I must not have lined this up very well because it's a little off, but you know what? I'm not incredibly worried about it. So now, I already have the second layer lined up. So what I did was I stamped the one layer on my mat, and then I lined up the second layer and stamped it. And I will go ahead and do the third layer with you guys. I'm going to place this one in here. This is the one I kind of messed up on, so I'm going to move that. I must not have my thing in the right spot. So I'm going to put this in the corner. Put that in there. Now I've already put my stamp down here, and I'm going to ink that one up with Autumn Rose. I'm going to close it. And look how, it's not perfectly lined up, but it's pretty good. So the little one's a little bit harder to line up. So I'm going to insert that back in there. I'm wondering if I didn't have my thing perfectly in the corner when I did that. Okay, so that's back up in there. Oops, these magnets are really strong. Move that one out of the way. Okay, ink my stamp up again. Now this one's going to be a little bit off because I think I stamped the other one weird, but it's okay. It'll still look better than if I had done it on my own. Okay, so that one's not as good, but you know, you get the picture, whatever. So I'm going to wipe that one off because I don't need that one anymore. I'm going to move it out of my way. Now I'm going to put this one back in. And I'm going to put the third layer on top. So here's my third layer. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see. And excuse me if this takes like a second for me to line up. It's kind of hard to do it. I'm sorry if I get my head in the way. I guess I've got in the right spot. I'm just trying to line up all the little lines so they're perfect. Okay, and that looks pretty good. It may not be perfect. And sorry if I got my head in the way. I couldn't see. Okay. I'm going to zoom back out for you guys. The last layer I'm going to use my Scarlet Jewel. So I got my stamp over here in the corner. I'm just inking it up. That looks pretty good. So a lot better than if I had just lined that up on my own. Do that last one. Gonna ink up my stamp over here in the corner. Again, that's Scarlet Jewel. Close the lid. This one's a little off again, but like I said, better than if I had done it. Okay, now we're gonna move on to doing the leaves, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna take this die cut out, and I'm just storing them in the back with my die. I'm going to take the leaf out, put it in the corner here. I'm going to take the leaf and line it up in there. I'm going to move this over so I can see it a little better. And get it centered. Okay, and then I'm going to put that on there, close the lid. Okay, I'm going to take one of my leaf die cuts. I got some Scarlet Jewel on apparently, but that's okay. I'm going to use Simply Chartreuse for the bottom layer. I went MISTI over again so you guys can see. So here's layer 1 for the first leaf. There that is. And then here is layer 1 for the second leaf. This makes it so much easier to mass produce. I love it. So much easier to line up. It's amazing. Okay, I'm going to put my leaf back in there so we can do the second layer. Get rid of my Simply Chartreuse. And I'm going to pull in the second layer. I'm going to wipe off my other one real quick. Just move it out of the way. I'm going to take my second layer, put it on there. You guys can see that this is so easy to just line up. Except when you have a camera in your way. Okay. So I'm going to close the door on that. Put my die cut back in there. And I'm going to ink that up with New Leaf. You can't really see it because I'm in the corner here, but I'm inking it up. Closing the lid. Love it. There's a lot of construction and stuff going on outside my house. They're building some condos. You guys might hear the lawn people and the construction people. Okay, now that's all the stamping we're going to do for now. I'm going to move, I don't know, I'm going to stamp the inside too later, but maybe I just won't use my MISTI. Okay, so I'm going to put those away. And we're going to assemble the outside of the card. I'm going to bring it back in here. Now I want to put glue dots, not glue dots, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of my big flower. And then dimensionals on the back of one of my little flowers. And then on the back of my leaves and my other flower. And yes, I am using scrap paper for my die cuts. That's what you see on the back there. It was another project I did. Okay. I'm going to take off the little release papers. And I'm going to put the big one down first. I'm going to put down here in the corner. And then I'm going to put this other one that's popped up over here. I'm going to stick this leaf down under here. I'm going to stick this die cut flower over here. And I'm going to stick this last leaf down under here, kind of covering that ink that's on there. Okay, now I'm going to put the ribbon on right now, and then we'll do the sentiment. So I'm using the Stampin' Up! Organza ribbon. I absolutely love this ribbon. I'm almost out, as you can see, so this will be my last card with this before I have to order more. So I'm going to wrap it around the top, and I'm just going to do a knot instead of a bow, just because I feel like there's already a lot going on the front, and I just wanted to give it a little something extra. Now, I'm good at bows, not so good at knots, but we'll see how this goes. Alright, there we go. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to cut this at an angle, cut this at an angle, and like that, you guys. I'm out of my organza ribbon. I love it. Okay, and then for the word die cut, I'm going to turn my MISTI, my Minc Machine on because we're going to be using that. So what I did was I took the Good Times die cut, Celebrate, and it is the one that coordinates with the Good Times stamp set. So the Celebrate, I took the die and I cut it out 4 times in Whisper White cardstock. Not Whisper White. Yeah, I think I did Whisper White just because it was sitting on my desk. So I just cut it out on white cardstock 4 times, and I layered them together using my glue runner. My 2-way glue. This glue. Now, I took a sheet of paper that I printed a whole block of toner with, and this is from Jennifer McGuire's blog. I printed that out on my laser printer, and I die cut the Celebrate one more time, just so that I could now foil it. So I'm going to use the pink Heidi Swapp foil. On my other video I used the hot pink. I'm just using the regular pink. It's like a light pink for this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it in my carrier sheet. That beeping means that my Minc Machine is ready. I'm going to stick this in my carrier sheet. Make sure I'm covering the whole word. I'm going to close that. I'm going to bring my Minc Machine in. And then I'm going to lift up and zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I've put it on setting 3. I'm going to run my carrier sheet through my machine. It's going to come out the other side. Now while that's doing that, I have a 8.5 by 5.5 fresh snow linen paper cardstock base that I scored in half and folded. And I'm just down here, I just burnished it a little bit. I'm going to take and I'm going to put glue on the back of my card front. I'm going to run tape all along the back. I'm going to put it under my ribbon as well. I have a dimensional paper in there. Okay, and then I'm just going to stick this on the card front. I probably should have stamped before I did this in case I messed up on my stamping. So hopefully I won't mess up on my stamping. You guys know that's happened, right? You get everything done and then you mess up on the inside. Okay, so this is just about done. You can see it's coming through the back here. Okay, I'm going to turn my Minc Machine off. Move it out of the way. I'm going to come down and zoom you guys back in. Okay, so this is where the magic happens. I'm going to pull it out of my carrier sheet. Okay, and I'm going to take the foil off. And voila! You get this awesome foil die cut piece. I just love it. Okay, so I'm just going to take some scratch paper. I'm going to take my Celebrate die that I already made. I'm going to run some glue along top of it. As in my other video, I tried this with foam, and that was a disaster too. I had such a problem. Oh my god. That other video was just terrible. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but I had to redo this video. It's much better when you just cut it in paper. Okay, so there's my Celebrate die cut. I'm going to put glue along the back of it. And yes, I did use scratch paper to cut this out too, as you can see. It's sitting on my desk and I didn't want to waste it. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to glue my Celebrate right about here. I'm just going to push it down. Okay, you guys, so that is the front. I love it. I think it's beautiful. Now on the inside, we're going to use a sentiment from Inside and Out Love by Paper Tray Ink. We're going to use the one that says, the best thing in life is finding someone who knows all your flaws, mistakes, and weaknesses and still thinks you're amazing. Because I think that's a really cute one for a wedding shower. So I just need to grab a black real quick. Does black fit? Yes. Okay, and I'm going to take my Stampin' Piercing pad. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the Encore Silver ink. Okay guys, hope I get this straight. Because remember I already glued my card front down. Okay. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So, there is my finished card for a wedding shower. You could do you can make this into a birthday card, you could make this into a wedding card, whatever. You want to do something that celebrates. It's a flower. You could turn it into a sympathy card, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Flowers can be used for any occasion. So, using the Delightful Dahlias, my Minc Machine, my Chevron cover plate, there is my card. And I hope you guys liked it. Here is the one that Nicole Heidi made that inspired me to make this one because I needed to use up the outside edge. And now I do have, so when you're done with this, you get this left over, right? So I do have a card using this that I will also share with you in another video. Thank you for watching. Bye!